to post that as well, or unmute yourself, and we'll have time at the end for that kind of thing. Okay, so here we go. I'm just gonna let you know a little bit about myself. If you haven't met me already, my name is Lydia Dolch, and I run a company called Open the Lid that I started because I saw a huge gap in what schools could offer and what families needed. As a certified special education teacher and consultant and empowerment coach, I really realized that it is really important to support the whole family, that you can't just look at a foot and understand the whole leg or support the whole leg. So through Open the Lid, I've definitely focused on empowering individuals, but part of that empowerment is really empowering and supporting the whole family. And so that's what we do through classes, live classes like this, and self-paced classes and programs, including some more intensive programs and classes that I'll talk about later on. I've been teaching neurodiverse folks for a very long time and ran the autism program for the Ithaca City School District. And I've worked from birth through early intervention all the way through older adults living in group homes and accessing the community. So I've done it all. And I also, let's see, I also have 4 spirited children, none of whom really love masks. And I also live with sensory processing disorder after a head injury a couple of years back. So I live sensory avoidance from the inside out. It was the best professional development I could ever not want. Okay, so this is the agenda we're going to talk about tonight. I'm going to address mask wearing from several different perspectives, from an educational perspective, from a sensory perspective, and also from a style perspective. And that's just one of the bonuses of being a teacher, is just being able to pull in information from so many different sources and professions. And so a lot of this has come from a lot of collaboration. So we're going to talk about modeling and what that means, videos and stories and songs, something called power cards and training strategies, styles and textures and modifications, and also scent. And then we're going to have a Q&A at the end, plenty of time for questions. Okay, so first off, modeling. And you'll see a lot of pictures of my kids because they were willing to model this week as I was. So one of the most incredible things that we can do is really model wearing masks. So, you know, whether we are modeling for the kids that are walking down the street, or we're modeling for our students or for our loved ones, when we wear a mask, we are showing that it's important and that it's something that's part of the new normal for now. And this is one thing, Brene Brown is just one of my favorite researchers and speakers and storytellers. And she does a great audio series on parenting. And one of the things she says is that the best way to be parents, and I'm paraphrasing, but the best way to be parents is really to walk the walk, because that's what kids remember. It's not what we say, it's what we do. And that really, really comes into play when it comes to wearing masks. So making sure that we wear masks and model wearing masks is such a huge piece of ensuring success for people who may feel more hesitant. And if you're the individual that's hesitant to wear a mask, you can think about somebody that it might be even harder for, and be modeling wearing a mask to help the other person feel more brave. Kristen, I know that you have a little guy in your life that really looks up to you. So you can think about wearing your mask as a way of showing him how brave you are and what it's like to do something that might be outside of your comfort zone. Okay, so here's the next thing called videos. In the world of autism, there's a really powerful tool called video modeling. And perhaps you have a kiddo who really loves videos. Perhaps they even script on video. So they watch videos and then they repeat the things that happen in the videos. This can be such a powerful, powerful tool to take advantage of. And what I mean by that is that if you take a video of yourself wearing a mask, saying things like, wow, I am brave wearing this mask, I've got this and I look good, or like, I'm pretending to be a doctor today, or a superhero today, and your loved one watches that video over and over again, they may just start scripting those excited, brave, and what am I trying to say? Like, they might have more buy-in from these videos. It's really powerful. Video models are super powerful when it's the individual doing the video. So if you can catch yourself or your loved one who doesn't want to wear a mask making a video with the mask on, that's really great. And then they can watch it over and over, even when they're not feeling like wearing their masks. It's almost like evidence. Look, you wore your mask and you were okay. Look at this. This is an awesome video of you, doing your cool dance while wearing a mask. That's fabulous. Alternatively, having somebody their own age can be really powerful. So someone they know, preferably. This is a really great chance to ask people in your circle to send you videos of them wearing masks and maybe being silly or telling jokes or connecting in some way, saying their names. When you use these connections through video, it's really, really, really powerful, especially for kiddos that love screens. And the next best, so it's like person first, known peer is next most powerful, unknown peer is the next most powerful, and then a known adult making videos, sending quick videos just through text or whatever. Hey, look at me, I look great in my mask. I want to see you in your mask, that kind of thing. It can just be really encouraging to see people you love and wearing masks and reminding each other that you're all in it together. And it builds that kind of community. Now, another way to use videos is just to go ahead and go on YouTube and look up COVID books for kids. And what you'll see are some COVID books and videos about how to wear a mask, why we wear masks, and it gives that information that's really helpful for buy-in, because we want to come at this from many different directions. Yes, we'll get into like the physical mask wearing, but we want to talk about the mindset of mask wearing and getting excited, getting on board with joining in with your loved ones and supporting them by wearing masks. So again, YouTube can be your best friend in this situation by just searching COVID videos for kids or for adults who hate masks, and maybe you'll find something really funny that like helps you just buy in and say, yeah, this is going to be awesome for sure. And then you can giggle and think about that ridiculously obscene video that's teaching you to wear a mask. I don't know. So now let's talk about stories. In the autism world, they're called social stories, and they were officially developed by a woman named Carol Gray. And the idea with social stories is to write a story in the first person, not making promises, but making courageous attempts. Right? So here's an example. My name is Abe. I'm 7 years old. When I leave my house, I will do my best to wear my mask. When I wear my mask, I say, stay from germs. My parents will be proud, right? So this is just kind of the general format of a social story. And you can look it up online, Google how to write a social story by Carol Gray, and it will lead you in that direction. But the idea is this is a script, but in a written version that you practice not when you're about to go out and need to wear the mask, not in the height of intense times, but really when you're just hanging out, you know, you leave it on the kitchen table, you leave it in the bathroom, you leave it maybe in the car, so that you can read this story kind of throughout the day. You can draw pictures, you can illustrate them, your loved one can illustrate them to have more buy-in and ownership over the story. If you need help writing one, let me know. You can email me. We can figure this out together. But keeping it simple, talking about the expectation of wearing a mask and why, and what's the result of wearing a mask? Why is it a good idea? Because when you can think of that over and over again, then that script becomes calming and it becomes a focus rather than a fight with you. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the social stories. Again, YouTube, you can look up social stories for wearing a mask. You can just look up stories for masks, stories for COVID. And there are some really great stories that people are reading or telling that will help your loved ones. And so you don't have to start from scratch. I just wanted to add that in, because sometimes we just don't need another thing on our to-do lists. Okay, now for songs. So the great thing about songs is that when you're frustrated, either with yourself or you're frustrated with the person that you want to wear a mask and isn't wearing a mask, when you sing a song, it helps you control your tone of voice. So it's really hard to sound quite as angry when you're singing or quite as frustrated when you're singing. So this song, it does not have to be pretty. It does not have to be complicated. It does not have to rhyme. It can be a song you get off of YouTube. I took a tune that I remember from a kid, and then I went ahead and just added some lyrics to it. So it says, I wear a mask, you wear a mask, we wear our masks together. When we go in public, we put on our masks. They help us stay safe and healthy. I mean, it can be anything, simple, whatever, as long as it's kind of catchy, simple, repetitive, and it gets the idea across. It can just help you feel more patient with yourself or with others when you're trying to do this mask thing. So again, be silly, come up with something. And what's really nice about wearing it is using a song regularly, you know, just around the house. And then when it's time to transition out into public, once your loved one, or once you are familiar enough with the lyrics to the song, you can just kind of hum it. So, and your loved one will start thinking the words in their head, and it will be a self-encouragement, a tool for self-encouragement for wearing that mask. Okay. So again, lots of songs on YouTube now about wearing a mask, and it says COVID songs for kids, but you know, I kind of like really catchy, short, simple songs. They stick in my head. They're officially called earworms. I didn't know if you know that that's a term. It is. It's a song or a ditty or a jingle from some whatever that stays stuck in your head. And so just searching COVID songs for kids can give you really great content that even you as adults can use. Okay, here's another really cool tool from the autism world. And these are called power cards. And they're not as well known as, say, a social story, but I think they're really powerful as the name shares. Here's the idea. Oftentimes, you might be working with someone that has a really intense special interest. So let's see, does anyone want to give me an example of a special interest? Feel free to type it in the chat. I'll do that one after I do this example, if you give me another example. So for example, say it's a superhero. So your favorite superhero says, and they're talking to me now as Lydia, Lydia, wear your mask like me to show the world how brave and strong you are. Together we can stop those germs from spreading, right? So here we are, just like that favorite superhero is talking directly to me, encouraging me to do the right thing. It could be a superhero. It could be a favorite kind of animal. It could be a stuffed animal. It could be a talking tree or a talking rock, whatever it is that your loved one really, really is interested in. So Jenna, Amanda, I would be interested in knowing if your loved ones have any special interests, and we could do a little brainstorming about a power card for them, either now or at the end of this time together. Okay, and again, if this seems like a fun idea, but you're not sure where to start, you can always email me, support@openthelid.com. I'm happy to help. Okay. Oh, great. We have Mario. Oh, that's so perfect. That's so perfect to use Mario. So what you can do is you can even, like cut out a picture of Mario. I love using Canva. You can get a free version where you just like download a picture of Mario, slap it into Canva, type it in and print it out, or Word, whatever works for you. But the idea is that Mario is talking to your son and encouraging him to wear a mask. And you can also get little pictures of masks to put on top of Mario. Like in Canva, you can just kind of drag and drop a mask on top. But again, you can draw it out. You can draw out Mario and put a mask on Mario and talk about how you get to go to different worlds and you get stronger and you get more points, whatever it is, for wearing your mask and together getting through the hardest levels of school or public or whatever together. So again, that's just kind of like a place to start, and I'm happy to go further with you if you'd like. But then having that Mario card around would be so fun. Okay. So now let's go into training strategies. So, okay, we've talked about the mindset of wearing masks, and we've sung songs and created stories and made power cards. And again, you're taking what works, you leave the rest. But now you're just like, you know what, we've got to practice. We've got to practice wearing these masks. So there are quite a few different strategies for helping loved ones, helping yourself wear a mask. One thing I really recommend is doing like time trials. So the kiddo is doing something they really love. Maybe it's when they're using a screen. So you're connecting it with something that they love, something that's hard with something they like. And you're setting a timer and saying, okay, we're just gonna wear masks for 10 minutes and then take them off. Or then you might do that for a day or two, and then you might increase it to 20 minutes, and then a half hour, and then an hour. You can do it that way. Another way to use timing is, as long as you wear the mask, you can blink. So as long as you have your mask on, you can play Mario. As soon as you take the mask off, Mario stops, right? So then again, it's pairing something that's really hard with something they love, and knowing, okay, I'd never give my kid this much media time, but the goal here is training them, helping them desensitize to wearing a mask. And we'll talk about some styles later so that you're working with a mask that has the highest likelihood of success. Okay, so using a timer, increasing the timer every day, doing it several times during the day. Okay, we're gonna do 10 minutes after breakfast. We're gonna do 10 minutes after lunch, 10 minutes after dinner, whatever. Figuring out ways to start increasing those times throughout the day. And especially if they're going to school, it's really, really important to start this training now and start increasing time so that it's not just from 0 to 6 hours a day or more if they're riding the bus. Okay, so here's one of my favorites, and I use this tool all the time, even with my 13-year-old. The idea is first then. And really what you're doing here is, instead of saying, you better put on your mask or I'm gonna get mad or you're gonna get sick, you just say, first put on your mask, then we can blah, blah, blah. Then we can watch TV, then we can take a walk, then we can draw with chalk on the sidewalk, then we can, go wave at some neighbors, whatever. But when you say what you need and then what comes after that, you get a lot more buy-in, okay? So the other thing, I'll talk about it in a minute. So also mentioning important family members or friends. For my family, what really gets my kiddos to wear their masks is knowing that they need to wear their masks if they're going to be able to see their grandparents, and they love their grandparents. So we say, okay, remember when you go outside, we're putting on our masks, we're going to stay safe, and we're going to make sure we stay healthy so we can see, Abuela and Papa, right? So that we can see Nana and Grandpa. And that's just super motivation, because they love those people so much, they definitely want to still be able to see them. So whether it's a friend or whether it's family members or even the neighbors, whatever it is, if you have those special people that your loved ones connect with or that you connect with, keeping them in the front of your mind as just a reason you want to keep everybody safe, including the people you love dearly. Okay. Reward charts. So some people love reward charts, some people can't stand them. Again, I'm throwing out tons and tons of tools here. You can take what you need and leave the rest. But perhaps, they're just unavoidable errands you need to do, and you need to wear a mask, or your loved one needs to take a mask and keep it on. And so you might, do a sticker chart. Every time you go out and you keep that mask on, you get a sticker. And then once you get 10 stickers, you get a bigger sticker, or you get to stay up 15 minutes later past your bedtime, whatever it is. But some kids are super, super motivated by sticker charts. And if that's what kind of gets them in the habit, then after a while, they won't need the sticker charts for the most part. Sometimes you do have to, like for example, when we use charts at our house, it's when we're trying to teach a new skill, like staying in your bed all night. And so when we have successful nights all in a row and making major progress, then we might be able to go a couple weeks, months without a chart, and then maybe the behavior slips a little bit, and then we pull out a new chart and we work on staying in your bed all night. So whatever that goal is, and in this situation, it's wearing a mask, it's worth it for some folks to have this tangible look. We got home, we washed our hands from being in the store, here's your sticker, put it on your chart. Well done. And it's this visual symbol, and it's a reminder of, look, I did it that many times. Wow, I'm getting good at this. Okay. Okay, before I go back to style, I want to add one more thing. Let's see, maybe I should have done it when I was thinking of it before. No, it's gone. It will come back to me by the end and I will share it then. Okay, so let's talk about style. And again, these are some of my kiddos showing off some of their style. This top one is a buff. It's the things that you can wear skiing. I actually have made some of them by just cutting off parts of legs of old leggings. You can buy old leggings, at a thrift shop, or if you have some old leggings, I've just been literally like cutting off a chunk of the legging so that it's the right fit, because the buffs stay on. The kids will keep their buffs on when they're out playing. And then if they're having a snack, they're not taking off the mask and putting it down. They're just pulling down the buff, eating, and then pulling it back up again. Or one of my kids actually like sneaks the snack under the buff. So yeah, they definitely get washed all the time. But what's really nice is that you can stick them on and then they're good to go for the day and they don't get lost. And ideally, you know, they're more than one layer of fabric, right? Because the more layers you have, the more protection you have. And the tighter the weave, the more protection you have. What I'm really going for with my kiddos is getting them in the habit of wearing a mask and having that protection. Because right now, the reality is they're really just wearing them, you know, when they're outside and there are other people that might be nearby, and they're not necessarily, you know, really close to other people for long periods of time, etc. I also really love this kind of mask that my daughter's wearing in the bottom picture, because that elastic means that she can just keep it around her neck. And so it's ready to go. So for example, if we're going on a hike and we have our masks on, so when somebody comes, we put the mask over our faces, but it's really super simple when it's already around your neck like this, and then it doesn't cause the ear irritation, okay? So again, 2 simple ways to encourage mask wearing, even for hesitant kiddos, or for situations where you can, you know, take it off when you're away from other people for a while, and then put it up when you're nearby others or in a smaller space. Lots and lots of styles. The disposable ones that are folded like this are actually safer because they are pleated, because they have several layers. So I think I was reading something like after 20 minutes, they were able to catch like 80% or more of particles that could contain COVID, whereas like a single layer kind of stretch your fabric might just be like 25% of protection. So there is a major difference, but 25% is also better than nothing. So it's just trying to figure out, okay, where maybe I start with something that isn't quite as effective, but it's something and they're getting used to wearing something on their face, or maybe I just really work on adding time to something that might be a little bit more challenging, but more protective. And we'll go into these styles a little bit more in a few minutes, but if you notice, this middle style is more like a beak style. And what's really nice about this is that it can make a really tight seal around your mouth, and that's really the most effective way to keep the germs in and out. And it's also, a lot of folks were talking about, hey, I really want to know what to do because my kid is sucking on their mask. So getting a beak style mask can make it so that you can't suck it because it's rigid and it comes out around your face like this. And there's a local woman, Nora Belfort, who is amazing and willing to make those kinds of masks, and I'm happy to pass on her info. So again, for folks, it's also a really great style for people that might feel claustrophobic, or maybe they're really heavy breathers. I don't know if you've tried singing in a mask yet, but when I'm singing with a mask, there's this like sucking thing and it goes right into my face and right into my mouth, and it's kind of off-putting, right? But with this kind of beak mask, there's more of an opportunity to feel like you're getting better air in, and there's not this kind of like suction to your mouth if you're really breathing deeply or singing or, you know, panting while going up a hill, whatever it is. Moving on. Okay, some more styles. So I just have this, you know, simple handkerchief, and what's really interesting about this is that that's that tightly woven cotton, and this is many layers because I'm folding it over. So this is actually pretty effective. I'm showing you the front and back of another mask that my daughter wears. And what's really nice about this is you'll see in the bottom picture that little pulley is really adjustable. So, you know, it goes through the mask here as opposed to just being two cords. It goes through, it's all one big piece, so you can tighten it up and adjust it. So different faces can wear it, you can wear it on different hairstyles and really get it to fit comfortably and create a better seal that way. These bicycle masks, a friend and educator, Angela Levy, made. And these are great because, again, they're that tightly knit cotton. They're folded so they have some more protection. And the way that they're folded makes it easier to wear them when you're wearing glasses, because that can often be an issue with the fogging. And I'm going to just talk a little bit about that. So if I'm wearing a mask, this is a beautiful mask someone made, and I have my glasses and I'm trying to wear them, they are going to fog up if I'm doing it like this, right? So the most effective way to wear masks with glasses is to pull the mask up a little bit higher and then put your glasses on top of the mask, and then the glasses create a seal around the nose, and then they don't fog up as much when you're talking and moving around. Now, some masks just do a lot better with glasses, and these pleated ones seem to be on the good side. So if your loved one wears glasses, it is something really to consider, and figuring out the right style for the least amount of fog is a good thing. Okay, perhaps you're like this educator, Monica Sherman, who really, she works with the deaf and hard of hearing. She works in special ed. Let's see. Jill, I'd love to, let's see, you typed a little bit. I can't wait to hear what else you have to say. So let's see. Monica is showing you the smile masks. Yes, there are some masks with special piece over the nose to avoid fog, and they are awesome. So I highly recommend those as well. There's so many great ones coming out that it's really encouraging to see so many styles out there. And it does get expensive to try to figure out the style that works for you, but then once you find it, it's a gold mine, right? It just makes the fight so much less. So here Monica's wearing a mask that has a smile screen in it. And, you know, for some kids, maybe it's really scary to not see people's faces. Maybe they have hearing loss that you're not aware of. And so they're frustrated because you put on a mask, they can't hear you or understand you. They're not getting your facial cues. So wearing a smile mask like this provides an opportunity to feel more connected and like things aren't quite as scary or as overwhelming. And maybe they need to see their own face. Or maybe you hate wearing a mask because you think nobody really gets what I'm thinking right now because they're not seeing my facial expressions, and that's really important to me. So wearing a smile mask can make that more doable. This is the picture with the orange background is a great image I found from the LA Times from somebody, I believe in Guatemala, who decided to decorate her mask this way. But I thought, oh, how clever, right? To have like a tutu mask for somebody that's really into dance or tutus, like how fabulous. And you could even take a disposable mask, you know, as a teacher, a disposable mask, and just hot glue some lace on them for somebody you know that really needs to wear a mask that's hesitant about it. You can also, these disposable masks are great for drawing pictures on them. Say, oh, what picture do you want on your mask today? That can be a really fun way to change it up. Or do you want to have a word on it today, or your name, whatever. This woman on the bottom is wearing a scarf. And I don't know if you've noticed, but it's tied so that she has both pieces of the scarf like this. So what's great about that is that you can wear it around your face, but then when you need to tighten it, you can just pull down here so you're not touching your face and perhaps touching germs that are coming in and out of your face that way. So I know there's a favorite ice cream shop I've been going to lately, and one of the women, I said, I have some extra masks in the car. Do you need one? She said, no, I love wearing this mask. I know it seems silly, but I don't have to touch my face, so I'm staying cleaner while I'm, making ice cream for people, and I just tighten it this way. So I thought, oh yeah, that's really clever. I want to share that. And again, you can get, really tightly woven, light scarves that you can wear in any kind of weather, and all different kinds of colors, etc. So it gives a lot of opportunity for fashion as well as safety. Okay, let's see, moving on. Okay, so this is my friend Nora, and she is a phenomenal mask maker, and she really swears by these two designs. So on the left with the koi fish is Nora, and this is a mask that she made that really is a contour mask that really creates a seal by being really well crafted so that it sits nicely. And then to your right is a mask that's more of that beak shape. And this is an extra large size mask on her son, who usually wears a medium. So it's a little bigger than it would normally look. But the idea here is that if you have a kiddo that likes to chew on their mask, likes to stick their tongue out, or lick their lips, or just doesn't like that kind of like suction feeling, then having this kind of duck bill or bill beak kind of mask might be a really huge asset. Another idea that I had for people that really, really love to chew on masks is to come up with something that might have a chewy built in. So what I was thinking is that you could have a mask and then sew in the chewy and then cut the chewy so that it's much, much shorter, so that they're just chewing on this piece. You can still throw it into the washing machine, and this would be completely fine in the washing machine. And you can't really destroy these super easily. They're made for chewing. And so then you have this built-in chewy, and yes, it's gonna be slimy and gross by the end of a couple of hours. You'll probably need a couple to get through the school day, but it's perhaps better than sucking on the mask, which would make the germs more likely to pass through, and also create some oral motor action that might help somebody self-soothe, especially if they're stressed out while they're wearing a mask, right? So you can get these on chewy tubes on Amazon or Abilitations or anywhere that you find kind of like adaptive chewy toys. Okay, let me know what you think of that idea, and if you have any other questions. I was just thinking, what are the possible things that you can sew into a mask that you can chew on and not worry about choking, right? Because sometimes there's some necklaces and things that are chewy, but if there are pieces and you're not seeing if somebody is like swallowing them, that might be an issue, right? So you've got to be careful of that. Okay, and Nora did say that she's willing to make masks for people that want these styles, and to use fabrics and materials that that your loved ones would love. And I think she just asked for donations to cover the costs. She's just an amazing, amazing woman. Okay, so textures and modifications. So another thing that I was thinking is that having masks with different fabrics inside is really powerful. So this mask, for example, has more of a flannel on the inside. And so again, it's tightly woven cotton, which is helpful. And this outside is a lighter cotton. So it has several layers. but the flannel just doesn't have that kind of soggy feeling that the regular cotton does. So the flannel can just be more comforting. You could also put a terry cloth towel on the inside. And then if somebody really does insist on chewing or really, really needs that feedback, the terry cloth towel is going to absorb some of that saliva, so it's not as wet and drippy. And maybe even, you know, create a little edge here with the terry cloth edge of the towel to chew on and have it stick out a little bit. So there's a terry cloth edge of a towel to chew on. And again, there are quite a few local mask makers, and I know there are a lot of mask makers on Etsy that are willing to really work with you on a design to make sure that it's something your loved one will tolerate. And then if it works out, they could make more. And a lot of folks, again, are just really in this to help each other. And so, you know, you won't break the bank trying to figure out something to make it work. You know, the cloth can be really, really exciting. One of my kiddos loves Frozen, so she wears a Frozen mask, and it's her go-to mask because she's excited to have Frozen characters on her face. And so, you know, being able to have that opportunity to pick out fabrics or request fabrics can also really help with the buy-in. Okay, now let's talk about scent. Now, this is something that I hadn't seen before, and maybe it's been out there, you know, because great ideas happen at the same time, but I found it really powerful to have scent in my mask. So, for example, I have this motivating yoga mist. It's sweet orange and peppermint. So I can spray just a little spritz in my mask, and then I can put this mask on. And I'm reminded of all of the wonderful times I've had doing yoga and how it helps me feel calm and refreshed. I could also have, you know, put a little vanilla extract in one to bring like a comfort, or, you know, a little almond extract to bring like a holiday baking comfort to a situation that might be really stressful. I might try a lavender mist for something that might be more calming. And, you know, a scent does go away after a while, but I recommend if you are going to be out in the community for a long time, if you're sending a kiddo to school, you're going to want to send more than one mask a day. So you might spritz a mask and then put it in a sealed container or a Ziploc so that that scent stays with them. And then, you know, partway through the day, they need a pickup. Maybe they started out with lavender and then they go to orange later in the day for a pickup, or peppermint, something that lifts up the energy levels and makes it exciting to put on a fresh new mask. Okay, let's see. Oh yes, peppermint essential oil can also help with cooling. Absolutely. And that can be really helpful in terms of like, if you have that feeling of like sweatiness near your mouth, having like a refreshing cool can be great. I have horrible acid reflux. And so something that really helps me is chewing peppermint gum. And the acupuncturist said, yeah, absolutely. Peppermint is super cooling to your whole system. But what's nice about chewing peppermint gum with a mask is then I smell the peppermint gum, you know, as I'm chewing it. And there is this kind of like cooling, refreshing thing going on under my mask, which is really helpful. So thank you for that. Yes, that's a really good point. And, you know, there are a lot of folks that know a whole lot more about essential oils than I do, but there's this great door to open in terms of buy-in. And, you know, our olfactory senses are some of the most basic senses that we have in our evolution. And so they hold really, really powerful memories and can really shift our mindset like that. You know, like, I don't know if you've ever walked by somebody that smells like your first grade teacher, but I sure have. And I was back in that first grade classroom sitting on the rug, listening to the boxcar children all of a sudden, right? So scent can be really powerful, and using it to provide comfort for somebody that might have anxiety about wearing a mask can be really great. Maybe, you know, you wear an essential oil or use a certain kind of soap or have a certain kind of perfume. And if you spray that, it can provide a sense of like being with you if if it's your loved one that you're doing this for. Anyway, worth experimenting, right? So let's see, what's next? Yes, I wanted to just do a little overview of all of these strategies that we've talked about, because it's both kind of the educational mindset and also the action steps kind of thing. We talked about modeling, about showing up, and when kiddos are, even when they're practicing, you're practicing too, showing, okay, we're in this together and I can do this just along with you. Video modeling, whether it's somebody they know, themselves, someone else, something short or something longer that you find on YouTube. Stories, either social stories that you write, social stories that you find online or on YouTube, or just stories about COVID and wearing masks. They can be so, so powerful to help kind of build a more supportive script in your mind. Songs, coming up little ditties, helping you sound calm even when you're not feeling it, and being able to just kind of like hum a few notes and get the idea across that this is what we're doing and this is why we're doing it. It's a great opportunity to just be silly. And again, if coming up with songs is not your jam, that's okay. YouTube has plenty, and you can find a ditty that works for you. Or you can listen to all of them together with your loved ones and figure out what works for them. It's even more powerful giving that choice. Power cards. Mario says, it's time for you to wear your mask. When you wear your mask, you are strong and brave like me, and you can try new things and jump over hurdles you never dreamed of before. Together, we can go through the COVID world and stay safe. Whatever. Using those images and putting a mask on that image just makes it that much more fun and powerful. And again, it's something you leave around. These stories, in songs and videos, it's not just for, okay, we're about to put on the mask, let's sing the song, let's do the video, blah, blah. It's really about setting the stage, talking about it, letting it be part of conversation, putting the masks on the toys, on the teddy bears, pretending with them, putting them on a Mario figurine or character, making a tiny mask for them and helping him be brave and acting out going into public wearing the mask. We talked about practice strategies, about setting the timer, about pairing it with something that somebody loves doing. And we talked about talking about loved ones and why we need to wear masks, giving that education as a practice strategy. And also, we talked about the idea of first you put on your mask, then we can go play outside. First you practice wearing your masks, then we're going to have popsicles, whatever. And then style, I showed you quite a few different styles. And again, the World Wide Web has unlimited amounts of styles. So if you're looking for something, with a vent so that when you're wearing glasses, it doesn't fog up, or you just like that feeling of fresh air, go in that direction. Or something lighter, like the disposables, again, they're not great for the earth. But if it means your kiddo is wearing a mask and being safe, they are really, really effective. I know the Ithaca City School District has ordered thousands and thousands and thousands of pediatric masks for kiddos, disposables. So it's nice to, send some, or send your kid in with a mask, obviously. But there are disposables at school, and they're lighter and breathable and have the best protection for the longest amount of time. Unless, of course, you're adding filters to your own homemade masks or sewn masks. Okay, we talked about textures and modifications, maybe adding terry cloth, maybe adding a chewy inside. Some people like silk inside of their mask. Let's see, there's also scents. my favorite. Just really trying to tap in to that part of us that can be soothed by a smell of something calming or familiar, or giving us that olfactory information that helps us through, some challenging situations. Okay, so now's a really great time for questions, and you can either unmute yourself or you can type something into the chat. You can give me a specific scenario or a specific phobia or concern, and we can strategize about that. And again, if there aren't questions that are coming up right now, you are always, always welcome to contact me. And we can problem solve together for sure. Okay. So this is how you get in touch. You can follow me on social media. I have a pretty extensive library of videos, and they're videos that come out every week on YouTube, and I'm going to post this on YouTube on my channel. Yay, Kristen, I'm glad this really helped. Tips for nonverbal kids. Yes, excellent question. So I would say really using first then with pictures would be really, really great. First mask, then whatever they're looking forward to, you know, then you hold your lovey, then you go on the bus, whatever it is. Having a visual schedule and including mask on the schedule is a really, really powerful tool, so that it's just part of the ritual. Oh, the thing that I was going to share that I forgot about was the idea of using rules. So some kids are really, really rule-based, and you can say the rule is when we go outside, we wear a mask, because then it's not you need to put on your mask, because then there's this fight of like a power struggle kind of thing. But if it is the rule is when we go outside, we wear masks, then that's just the rule. And then it's not about you, it's about not liking the rule, but you're, oh man, sorry buddy, we've got to do the rule. The rule is when we go to school, we wear masks. The rule is when we go to a store, we put on a mask. And that's the rule. Some kids do really, really well when there's a picture that represents the rule, or you write down the rule is, even if they can't read, sometimes writing down the rule is when we go outside, we put on a mask, and then you just show them the card. And sometimes I keep like a ring of rules that I just write on little index cards with me, and we just go flip through the rules. The rule is, and it can really provide a lot of calm and comfort, having that like, oh, okay, it's the rule. Just like you can't touch a hot stove, you put on a mask when you go to school. It's the rule. So that was a slight tangent, perhaps helpful for nonverbal kiddos. I think so many of these tips are going to be really, really helpful for nonverbal kiddos. When I work with folks who are nonverbal, I assume intelligence. And so, you know, using songs is powerful. Using pictures is powerful. Thinking about who they are as learners, if they take in most of their information visually, if they take in most of their information auditorially, it's thinking about what they love and connecting mask wearing with what they love, so that they're communicating with you because you know what they love, and then you're communicating with them by adding in the mask element. And then just making it clear as day with pictures very often. First mask, then blank. Or a very, very simple social story with a picture. When I go outside, I will do my best to wear a mask. It will keep me safe. my family will be proud. That's the basics, the basics. Was that helpful? Does anybody have somebody that's like yanking masks off? If that's the case, I would totally recommend the buff that you have around your neck, because you can pull on a buff. It's not going to choke you, but it's not something that's going to easily fly quite as quickly. And what you can do, if you do have a loved one that's throwing masks, is use clips. You can get clips like clips that you use with to hold mittens on, so that it's like elastic with clips on either end. You can clip to the back of the buff, and then you can clip to the back of the shirt in between the shoulder blades where they can't get at it. So even if they rip it off, they can't make it go forward. It might just go behind their back, but then it's not going on the floor and getting nasty. And it's, you know, you can read the rule, stick it back on, and keep going. So I highly recommend connecting a buff to the back of the shirt for kiddos that might want to throw them. Okay, great questions. Anything else? Let's see. Do I recommend 3- and 4-year-olds wear masks? Yeah, I do. Because 3- and 4-year-olds are often very much touching their face a lot and touching other things a lot. And so because the world is so interesting, right? It's exploring with all of your senses. And so much of that is touching everything. Like if you see a kid walking through a store that's 3 or 4 years old, they want to touch everything, right? So, you know, you put them in the ergo or in the cart, or don't take them to the store ideally, right? But kids love to experience their surroundings. And a lot of that is through the tactile sense. And when you're not wearing a mask, then that becomes picking your nose and licking your hand and just, you know, having your hands near your face. So the mask really helps reduce a lot of that germ conduction, shall we say. Okay, Kristen, thanks for being here, and I will see you tomorrow. So excited. Other questions? All right. So again, I have a lot of content on YouTube. I recommend that you subscribe so you don't miss those episodes. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and we have a great Facebook group. You can totally post questions there, because usually if you have a question, there are like 20 other people that have that question. And so posting there is just so helpful. And there are a lot of folks in the Open the Lid Facebook community that are on the spectrum, that love folks on the spectrum that are living with sensory processing disorder. And so it's a really great place to find community and get ideas. If you're interested in working more long-term with me, or you'd like to set up some official consults, or, hey, I want to figure out, you know, how to navigate the school year, whether you're at home or trying to do in-person classes, and you'd love some extra support, feel free to email me or check out my my website. Jill, I'm so glad that you got some new ideas tonight. And I'm really, really glad you joined in. Thank you so much. And again, feel free to pass on the recording to folks that might really benefit, for sure. Okay, you can email, text, you can email support@openthelid.com. You can text me or call me at the number listed here. You are so welcome. I'm so grateful that you guys were here tonight. So again, feel free to reach out, feel free to pass on my information, and I'm here for you. I really believe that I call what I do, Open the Lid, because I really believe it's our opportunity to step out of the box that we are stuck in. And by doing that, we can expand into our best selves and experience a whole lot more light. So thank you for opening the lid of this box of mask wearing and experiencing some new ideas. And I hope that you can pass those along to those you love and pass on this webinar to folks who might really benefit from it. And again, I also really invite you to connect if you'd like more support beyond just mask wearing. And know that I am excited and available to support you and your loved ones in any way that you need. One of my favorite ways to do that is through my classes. And we meet 5 days a week on Zoom with folks with neurotypical and neurodiverse needs, and work on all kinds of social, emotional strategies, as well as just life skills, and how to set your screen so they don't have as much blue light, and where to find good workout videos on YouTube, along with practicing conversational skills and learning how to self-advocate. So anyway, I love when folks join in on Open the Lid classes, and you can find more about that on openthelid.com. So again, thank you again so much for being here. Please feel free to reach out, and know that I am here to support you in any way I possibly can. Be well, and I hope to talk to you soon. Take care.